Hi everyone! In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a quick and easy Christmas tree background. I really liked the shape of this Christmas tree, which I found in the Cricut images. So I'll show you how we're going to modify it. It was a really cute shape of the tree. On the left here we're going to click on images. I checked the box under ownership that says free. And this was the tree that I liked. We're going to modify it a little bit, but I just really like the shape of the branches on this one. So the first thing we need to do, it's all one unit. As you can see in the layers panel, only one of these areas is lit up, which means this is all one single unit. So we're going to slice this star off of the top. I'm going to grab a star out of the layers, out of the shapes tool there, and place it over the star. Make sure you don't get the top of your tree. You don't want to cut that off. And I'm going to hold the shift key down and click on the star. You could also just draw a line touching these two items. It doesn't even have to go all the way around it to grab them both. You can hold the shift key down and grab them both in the layers panel. 3 different ways to grab your two items there. And at the bottom of the layers panel, we're going to use the slice tool. So go ahead and click slice there. And then we're going to move our tree out of the way, drag our cursor through all these stars, and delete them. I want to keep the trunk, but I want to connect it to the tree since I'm going to be making this much smaller to do a background stencil. So I'm going to go ahead to the shapes again and grab a diamond. I'm going to rotate that using that top right hand corner of it to rotate. Duplicate that so that I can place one on the other side as well. The star didn't quite work to do the bottom of the trunk, so I'm just using diamonds. And then I'm going to grab both of those diamonds. Again, you can draw a line through them, you can draw a box around them, you can click on them both with the shift key down, and we're going to weld those together so that they're one piece. And now covering up the trunk, but not touching our tree, we're going to get both of those items again and slice. Get rid of this extra piece, get rid of this extra piece, but I want to keep the trunk because remember I want to connect it. On the bottom left corner of the trunk, I'm going to go ahead and unlock it because I want to make it a little bit taller. And then I'm going to change the color of this. I'm going to draw a box around the whole thing, make it a little bit lighter color so that we can see that black outline and make sure that this trunk is completely attached. I'm going to draw a line around that, box around it, line through it, align up here in the top toolbar. We're going to get in the align and going to center that horizontally so that make sure it's down the middle of the tree, and weld. And as you can see, it welded nicely. There aren't any pieces that aren't attached here or any holes, so that looks good. Up in the top toolbar, let's see, that is currently 2 inches wide by almost 3 inches high. I'm going to make it 1/2 inch high, and that'll automatically bring it down to 0.365. So that'll be the size that I'll use for my stencil. In the shapes, we'll grab a square, and this will be our actual stencil square. I'm going to change that white just for the video, it makes everything easier to see. And for design purposes, I'm going to change the size of this to 5.25. Now ultimately my stencil will be 5.5 inches, but I want to make sure that I keep my design within 5.25 so that I have a border around my design. And as you can see, that covers up my tree because it was brought into the project after the tree. So in the top toolbar, we're going to click on Arrange and send this square to the back so that now my tree can come in front. And since this square is again 5.25 inches, we can start our design up next to the edge. And we're going to go edge to edge with our design. I'm going to duplicate a bunch of trees in here. let's see, that's 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's see where we end up. I'm going to try 7. So 1, 2, I don't want that first one. Click on each of these trees, again, either in the layers panel or I'm just holding my shift key down and touching each of the trees. And I'm going to use the align tool and I'm going to align the top of them. I won't be wanting them that close together, so what I'll do is I'll move one over and let's see, I'll grab those again. Make sure I realign the tops because I moved the one. And now again in the line also, this distribute down at the bottom, we're going to distribute those horizontally and that will automatically space them out equally for us. And let's see, I'm going to group those for just a second. Up here in the top of the layers panel, I clicked group so that I can move those as one unit without them moving around on me. They're just one piece. I'm going to duplicate that because what I would like to do is have them be left and right offset and yet also have the second row of trees centered between that first row. I wanted to see if I had enough room for one more tree on the end. And I do believe I do. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this one. Draw my box around these. And I need to let me ungroup those. Align the tops again, and we're going to redistribute because I added that extra one in there. Distribute horizontally. And now at the right side of our screen on the layers panel, we'll use the group function. So I can have those there. I'm going to duplicate this whole group at the right hand side on the layers panel there. We're going to duplicate. See if I have room for that guy. In this row, I'm going to go ahead and cut one of these out. So I'll grab a shape. Actually, what I'll do is I'm going to ungroup those. And I'm going to click on this one and delete him. Then we'll just draw our box around there again and regroup that. There we go. I like the look of that. I want to be able to have those trees centered between the trees above them. So we'll take this first row and duplicate that. Place it roughly, I'm just kind of eyeballing the spacing. Grabbing the second row and duplicating that. Again, kind of eyeballing that because we'll fix them in a minute with the align tool. Grab the long row, duplicate and place. And then we'll grab the short row, duplicate and place. And I think we can do that 1 or 2 more times. We'll have enough room for 1 or 2 more. I think we can fit 1 more. So we'll grab our short row and duplicate. Okay, so again, those are just kind of eyeballed. What I'm going to do, move my square out of the way, I'm going to grab all of these long ones that are offset to the left, all 3 of those, by just clicking on the first tree in each of those rows. Click on the align tool and align left so that they're all equally distant to the left. And then I'm going to, again, just kind of eyeball placement where the top of this tree is in the middle of these 2 trees above it. And then grabbing each one of those first trees in those rows. Align the left and see if I still, while they're all still chosen, I'm just eyeballing and checking the placement. I like that. So now I'm going to go ahead and just draw a box around everything, and in the bottom of the layers panel we're going to use the weld function. And then now again, for design purposes, I made this 5 1/4 inches. Move this over. For design purposes, I made this square 5 1/4 inches, so now this is the point where I have my design complete. I know it's going to fit. I'm going to go ahead and change that to 5 1/2. And then grab both my welded object and my stencil square and use the align tool to center that. And then simply attach. So this is ready to cut for a tree background stencil. Again, if you use one of those free images and you don't have Cricut access, you'll want to keep that in mind that you'll need to cut it while it's free. And you could also use a silhouette you find off of the internet. I just really liked the shape of that tree, and I know it's one that everybody can go out and get right now, so I thought that would be a fun one to start with. If you have any questions, feel free to place them in the comments. Have a great day.